What's good, everybody, and welcome to Casual Bias Rugby, the first official video on the channel. I'm excited. There's no better way than to start with the Rugby Championship coming up. To make it special, it's a Rugby Championship right before the World Cup, so it's going to be interesting. You don't know who's going to play who when it comes to the teams that they select. I mean, this is tough. In this video, we'll have like a quick look at the fixtures, look at the squad announcements, and then obviously at the end we'll have our quick predictions. So stay tuned. If you do like the channel, subscribe to the channel. Follow me on the socials if you want to. I'm pretty active on them. Yeah, let's get right into it. Box squad first. I mean, as you can hear with the accent, see with the jersey, born and raised South African, I am biased. You just gotta deal with it. But I mean, looking at the squad, no real surprises. I think Rassie and Jark had their team in their head a long while ago. I mean, it was pretty straightforward. We do have some injury issues, but I mean, it's not the end of the world. There has been players brought in. If you look at our fly-offs, but I think that just gives opportunity for someone like Manie Leborg to just excel in. I wonder how he's going to fit into the system. Obviously, we play a very different system to what he's used to at the Stormers. But I would like to see us playing to his strengths, playing some free-flowing rugby, putting the likes of a Damien de Linde or Lucanio Arm into the gap, and then we have our finishers on the wing. Very excited to see him. Unfortunately, you could say some players missing out, but I feel hard done by. But I mean, like Dan du Plessis, who's been the best centre in the URC. But I mean, you still have trustees there. The Damien de Linde, Lucanio Arm, Jesse Creel, and then obviously Andre Esreisen with the caps behind their name. Three players that stand out. Erge Snyman, Jean-Luc Dupree, Dion Fourie. Those are the three guys that I'm so excited to see in the box squad. I mean, Erge Snyman, let's not beat around the bush. He starts for most countries in the world. I mean, the guy's insane. To think there could be an injury to a Evanet Sabet or a Lodiager, and you have someone like Erge Snyman, the line-out general, the Viking, just slotting right in there. I mean, he's crucial. To come from the bomb squad, he could start, he could come from the bench. I don't care. This guy is immense. Came back from injury, played for Munster. Crucial for them. They won the URC. I mean, what do you even need to say? Jean-Luc Dupree, the whole country's been calling his name. I mean, he's been setting the English Premiership alight. The guy is crazy. Very excited to see him. He'll probably start again in the first game against Australia or come from the bench. As you know, we do have certain players that's already gone to New Zealand and the rest have stayed behind to play against Australia. We did it last year as well, or the year before that. I can't remember. But I mean, those two, immense. And then obviously, this is biased because I'm a Stormers fan as well. But the Stormers captain, Dion Fourie. I've been saying this for years. We need someone at the breakdown. We need a specialist fetcher. And there's no better than Dion Fourie. We do have good players at the breakdown, good fetchers if you look at the likes of a Malcolm Marx or Kwagga Smith. But I mean, this guy, specialist at the breakdown. He just causes shit wherever he goes. And I do love that about him. Now, looking into the fixtures, we're playing Australia at home, New Zealand away, Argentina at home. If I look at the rest of the teams, I mean, you got to favourite our fixtures. I mean, playing Australia at home, a newly Australian team under Eddie Jones, I do think we'll win it even with our rotated team. I mean, Australia still need to find their feet. I do think they'll be good at the World Cup. I have them as a very good underdog shout. If you're looking at the betting odds, New Zealand is the tough one. Obviously, to beat New Zealand in New Zealand is very tough. But that's just where you just have to trust your team. That's where the bias kicks in. And then obviously I do believe we'll beat Argentina at home. It's very favourable. It's looking good. Even though we do have our injuries, I just think it gives more players time to fluster, time to shine. It gives players the opportunity to really showcase their worth and put their name down for the World Cup. So yeah, I mean, South African team is looking very strong. Looking at the New Zealand side, I mean, it's just like a mixture of experience and talent, and the experience has some talent as well. I mean, it's a crazy squad. Just to think, like, the big players have come back now from injury injury, like the likes of a Sam Whitelock playing in the final again for the first time in about 10 years, and he was immense. I mean, this team is just filled with talent. I mean, they did make a mistake not having Sean Stevenson there from the start. Obviously, he's come in now. He's gone to Argentina to play the first game with the injury to Will Jordan and Leicester Nuku. But I mean, it's such a strong team. It will be interesting to see how Fozzie lines them up. I mean, I'm excited to see a player like Cam Roygaard. I mean, he was insane for the Hurricanes. Do they start with Aaron Smith, or do they take the risk and go for something different with Cam Roygaard? Where does the Barretts go in terms of Bowden and Geordie? Do they play the one at the centre and the one at fullback? Does Bowden start at fly-off with the likes of, I mean, Richie Mo'unga still there and arguably the best fly-off this season, Damien McKenzie? Do they take the risk? It's very interesting. It's a strong team, man. Very strong team. To have the likes of a Mark Delia and Leicester Nuku and Will Jordan injured, and other injuries as well in the forward back. I mean, and you can still feel a very strong team. I mean, it's insane. It's almost unfair. Looking at the fixtures as well, I mean, playing Argentina away and Australia away, that's your 2 away fixtures, and then playing South Africa at home. I don't see losing against Argentina or Australia, especially, as I said, Australia. They still have to see where things go with their team, and it's the Bledisloe Cup as well. I mean, you never lose the Bledisloe Cup. In my opinion, this might be biased, but I think the whole tournament, the whole championship will be decided in that second leg, the game against South Africa at home. Obviously, I have to be biased and feel South Africa has to take it, but I mean, geez, it's a tough call. New Zealand, very strong team. Excited to see some of the new faces in the team. Obviously, it's prep for the World Cup. People are writing off New Zealand, and I just think that makes them very, very scary to deal with. So yeah. Now, obviously, you could literally just play with one player on the field and win a game, and that's Ardie Savia, in my opinion, snub for Player of the Year. Shocking that it wasn't even mentioned for or in the nominees. But just moving on, because this team's scary, it's going to give me nightmares. We're going on to Australia. Looking at the Australian team, I mean, I'm not going to lie, I haven't watched too much of the Australian teams in the Super Rugby Pacific. And I don't really think that matters. The only thing that matters is how Eddie Jones sees this team going. I mean, he's a strategic specialist. It will be interesting to see how he lines up, what his strategy is going to be. It's a short turnaround for them. His first game is in the Rugby Championship and then heading straight into the World Cup. Is this a long-term signing for Eddie Jones? I mean, you could have the worst Australian team ever and still feel they're going to do very, very, very well under Eddie Jones. And as I said previously in the video, I do have them doing very well in the World Cup. I might even give them a shot to win it all. I don't believe they're going to win Bledisloe or the Rugby Championship. I think it's too short of a turnaround. But I mean, you still have the likes of a Michael Hooper there. I'm looking through the squad as I'm sitting here. Michael Hooper there, Quade Cooper. I mean, it's difference makers. Korobeti. The one thing that does bring them down a bit is the injury crisis. Still no Karevi in the squad, but I mean, it's still Eddie Jones. I mean, there's like one fact. It's like you can have all these injuries, but Eddie Jones. It's just like the ultimate nullifier of any negative thing. I do rate him very highly. I do think England made a mistake in throwing him away right before the World Cup, getting in Steve Borthwick. This Australian team is going to be a team to be reckoned with. I don't have too much to add, so I'll just go straight into the fixtures, because, as I said, it doesn't even matter what you say. It's just like any negative, it's just Eddie Jones. Looking at the fixtures, you could say it's good. It's a good thing they're playing home against New Zealand as well as Argentina. I don't really think it mattered where they played against Argentina. But the South African game, I think it's just too short. I do not see Australia winning that game. If it was in Australia, Australia would win it, because South Africa never wins in Australia. But I mean, I see them beating Argentina. that's why I ended. But then going into the World Cup, I see them beating almost every team. Just getting the strategies out of the way, seeing how they flow, getting used to it, getting their chemistry up. I do believe they will be a strong team. I don't think any one of the three teams will beat them far. Obviously, they'll beat Argentina, but I mean, other than that, I think it's going to be a close game against South Africa. I think it'll be a close game against New Zealand as well. Interesting to see who they're going to start at fly-off. Is it going to be Bernard Foley, who's been brilliant with that injury crisis, or is it going to be Quade Cooper? Obviously, Quade Cooper has that X factor. He can make any player look amazing. This guy is crazy. One of the most flary players you'll ever see on a rugby field. The guy is insane. So my prediction, official prediction for Australia, is not to do very well in the Rugby Championship, but obviously blow everyone away in the Rugby World Cup. Moving on to Los Pumas. Argentina. I'm not gonna lie. I don't know shit about them. Obviously, you know the big players like a Buffeli, just scanning through it. Obviously, a Pablo Matera. But I mean, I'm not going to beat around the bush. I don't see Argentina winning any of these games. Now, they don't even have favourable fixtures. Like if you just look at where they're playing New Zealand at home. I mean, it's not easy. They're not going to win that game. And then playing Australia in Australia and South Africa in South Africa. I think it's in Joburg. I mean, it's just very tough. Very tough all around. They do have favourable fixtures in the World Cup, but this is not World Cup now. I think they might even give all three of these teams a run for their money. Obviously, they beat New Zealand in New Zealand last year, but then the game afterwards just got spanked like 50-10 or something like that. I can't remember exactly. Obviously, Buffeli had a very good season for Edinburgh, however you say it. But I mean, I don't even know where most of these guys play. So they'll be tough. There'll be bruises. But yeah, I don't really see Argentina competing on the level to win the tournament. They will do good in the World Cup. But as I said, this is not the World Cup now. So I'm not going to beat around the bush. I do not know too much about them. Oh, obviously I have Lavanini as well, and then Gravy, but yeah, it's just tough. It's tough wherever you look. Going into our final predictions for the Rugby Championship, my bias is going to kick in. I say South Africa is going to win it, New Zealand comes second, Australia third, and then Argentina fourth. That is my official prediction, just because of the fact of South Africa having the good run of fixtures, playing the right teams at home, and then obviously the decider is between New Zealand and South Africa. Might even go to points difference somehow, but it's tough. I mean, it's not the usual playing every team home and away. I would have preferred this whole tournament to rather be scrapped, having more warm-up games against different teams. Instead of playing these tough games. I hope there's no injuries for any of these four teams when it gets to the Rugby World Cup because of this tournament. Obviously, if South Africa has to fall out, I'm going on the full kitchen sink to support Australia, New Zealand and Argentina, because those Northern Hemisphere guys, don't even get me started. I mean, I'm already have to deal with those guys in the URC. It's just too much. So yeah, that's my official prediction. South Africa to win it all. New Zealand to win the Bledisloe as well as come second. Australia coming third, just because of the fact that it's a quick turnaround. Eddie Jones has to start with a completely new team. We're not sure how they're going to line up or anything. And then Argentina to give every team a run for their money, but still end up fourth place. Thank you very much for watching. If you did enjoy it, there will be more videos, obviously. I'm still a bit rusty in front of the camera, so it will get better, obviously. But if you enjoyed it, do press the subscribe button. Leave your comments, your predictions in the comments below. If you do like the channel, please think about following me on the other channels. I'm very active on TikTok as well. It's more of a banter channel where we take shit or talk shit about the Bulls or Northern Hemisphere teams or stuff like that. So do please join the family. See you next time.